Everybody, thanks for watching. And just a quick reminder that Bible series, book 20, is now available, the Proverbs. Make sure you guys check this out. We're going to get into that in a second. Also, I want to thank you guys for being patient with the whole book process. We send out most of the tracking numbers to everybody, and we just got the new books in, so more books are going to be going out. All books are sold out at the moment. They're all sold out. And as I said before, those books were at a reduced price, half price for the first book. So when they come back out, there will be more. So I appreciate you guys getting in early and being patient with the process. Promise you, we're getting the books out as quickly as possible with the, the help that we have. So it's a lot of books, and I appreciate you guys' patience and support on that. But also, a lot of people was asking about the new site. So I do have another site coming because the app is done. Apple approved the app. We just adding a couple things to it. So this app is coming. It's going to release finally. And it's a whole presentation. I'm doing this whole thing so we can get into the site and the update. And then another site I have coming that's really going to be helping my entrepreneurs out. It's really dedicated to people who have small businesses and who have businesses that's, up and coming. Entertainment is, it's big money. It's a lot of money in that. There are new ways that people are coming up, to make money off of entertainment. You see with TikTok and just social media in general, but it's a lot of advertising spaces out there for people with small businesses that we really just can't afford as a small business. So this platform that I'm coming out with, which I'm going to do a whole presentation on this coming up, is going to really be geared towards helping people with that. And I'm lucky enough to be a part of this whole situation. And everybody that's going to be on Workable Academy that has a business, I'm going to make sure you guys have an opportunity to take advantage of this promotion to where you guys are going to be able to get your business out there. And it's going to be for free. It's not going to be no charge for you guys that's on Workable Academy. So all you guys who sent me your business information, I'm going to be contacting most of you guys that I see are, at that point in your business to where this is a push for you guys. A lot of you guys are well established and this is the next step. So those people, I will contact you guys and, let you in on this opportunity, but it's also going to be shown on Workable Academy. And, once the site is fully active, when the app releases, but, it's going to be able to really give you guys a push to get your business out there, to be seen and to get advertising spots. If you're, a content creator on YouTube, you probably heard, you probably got a lot of solicitation from a lot of these, small companies. It's a lot of groups out there that help you with your channel and grow your channel and stuff like that, which, I kind of stay away from all that stuff. Anything I really can't control, I have a hand in controlling. I don't like dealing with it for, obvious reasons. But this is going to be a really good platform for you guys to get your business out there and to have a chance to, to communicate and network with other business owners that might be doing the same thing, that can help you with logistical stuff, ordering, because that's the big one right there. Who's the guy? Who's the wholesaler? And I'm going to give you guys my information on some of the wholesalers that I use that I talked about in personal economics. And now they're, willing to accept more people in. And if you're, you're more established, you might have the money by now to go ahead and, take advantage of a lot of these wholesalers that I'm going to do a whole video on this. And we're going to get into this, coming soon. So stay tuned for all my entrepreneurs out there, because you guys have to find a way to get out of the rat race and get into business now more than ever. It's important, but it's easier. It's easier for you guys to get into, internet-based business or some type of business that you can generate sales from social media. So we're going to get into this coming soon. And, thanks to everybody that's a member that's keeping up with the site. I know a lot of you guys I got a lot of emails from you guys about the Never Pay Again membership. I'm going to do this again for 24 hours, and it might step a little bit longer, but it's really going to be 24 hours because it's only about 200 people we can get in for this membership. I'm going to do it at this price, $79.99, 24 hours. That's going to be it because I know a lot of people didn't see it. So if you want to get it, take advantage. A new video just came out today. It's $20. So, you basically saving because you'll get that video as well by taking advantage of this sale. I'm not doing it for $8 no more because I put out the sale for $100. So that means you don't have to pay for no more videos. And that's what that means. Never pay again. I'm trying to get as much people onto it as possible. So it's not an issue with, price when videos come out. So for my already Never Pay Again members, a lot of you guys still having issues with where to go for new videos. Again, Podia is only for people who have to pay. Podia is not for Never Pay Again members. You guys already have access to everything that's on Podia. All you have to do, like I said, go to Conscious Courses, scroll down, put in the password, scroll down to the Never Pay Again section, click on there, put in the password, you're good to go. And then, just hit enter or hit return on your keyboard or phone, and you'll have access to the video. So whenever a new video comes out, it will appear on there. That's where you need to go. You don't need to go to Podia at all. So this is where you guys go. But so it's real simple, real easy. And that's where you guys go to get access to new videos. And as I said, once the app comes out, if you already have it on Android, we've been sending out alerts. We're going to be testing the push notifications soon. So as soon as we release the iPhone app, just make sure you guys turn your notifications on. So whenever a new video comes out, you'll get a notification. For all the Never Pay Again members, you guys will get a notification for everything that's up and coming, that's coming up, and you'll have, you'll be in the know before everything releases. But we're coming up on a lot of new stuff. So it's one of the reasons why I'm putting this video out, so you guys can be in the know, understanding what's coming and what's going to be releasing. It's a lot of new videos coming up. So I appreciate you guys' patience and support on everything. So yeah, let's get into this video. So the Proverbs. The Proverbs is something we've been talking about. Had a conversation with a few people on Google. And yeah, it's a lot that you need to understand when it comes to the book of Proverbs. It's one of the most debated books in the Bible. And I know I got a lot of questions. We talked about this because you guys already knew what book was coming next. And Proverbs, they reveal some stuff, but Proverbs is also the book where you can tell, it gives it away where, they copied the Bible from. And there's a lot of scholars who get into Proverbs. And, Proverbs is, and somebody asked this question. Yes. So in Proverbs, we have Lady Wisdom, which we get into in the video. And yeah, a lot of people have no idea that it was someone created before God created anything else. And they don't tell you this in the book of Genesis. You find out in Proverbs, like, wait a minute, God created something before he created earth, and it was Lady Wisdom. It's esoteric, of course, but you need to understand because she really gets into a lot of information in this book, Proverbs. So it's important because it's pointing you somewhere. It's pointing you in a direction. And the Proverbs is real deep. It's a lot of information you need to take in. And it's really about them getting people to accept what you have read thus far. Because as I said, you read the Bible. By the time you get to 2 Samuel, you're ready to check out because you're like, yo, this guy crazy as shit. There's no way this is how it's supposed to be. Now, after everything you read, just the stories and everything like that, it's a mind job, and you just scratching your head like, this seems so dysfunctional for all powerful God, and who's supposed to know all and see all and everything they tell us. But if you actually read the Bible, it's no way something is wrong. And it's clear as day when you read in the book that if this dude has the power to just do this and create this, and so why is it this way? Is it a lesson in this? It don't make sense. I always talk about it like, okay, God created everybody, right? So why would he create all these people to occupy land that he wanted to give to the Hebrews? And then he tell the Hebrews, hey, this is your land. Just go kill these people and take it, when God can just, here's the land, take it, or just tell the people to leave something. It doesn't make sense for it to be bloodshed and babies dying and crazy stuff, eating babies and all that. And it's supposed to be a logical, rational, merciful God. that just don't fit, that all this stuff is going on. So to combat that, as I say in the video, cause it's crazy, we get Proverbs and Proverbs is nuts. And it's one of the things I say, you got to realize that if the book was true, if all this stuff actually happened, you wouldn't need Proverbs. You wouldn't need, all the reassuring and the encouraging and the persuasion and the brainwashing to get people to accept. It would be simply that, okay, if this God is real, then we can find out real easy. But it's so much swaying that goes into it, because you got to remember, back then, there's no social media. It's nothing else to really occupy these people time. So they had time to really think for themselves and look into stuff. So when you think about somebody coming to you and saying, hey, this guy does this, and this is the guy we're supposed to serve, and so on and so forth. How? This is why the Bible has been changed a lot, because it was different. Because back then it's like, well, the only thing you got to really worry about is, food, shelter. And it was a lot of rituals done because they felt like if crops wasn't growing, the gods was angered. So what do we have to do to please the gods so we can have, a good harvest? And this is a big part of, religion. It's about the gods. And they looked at this stuff as being real spiritual. And of course, if it ain't no harvest and no food, and, it's an issue. So with Proverbs, it's a lot of persuasion. It's a lot of, stuff that they're getting into to get you to understand how you're supposed to live your life according to wisdom. And, so Lady Wisdom gets into how she was created before the earth, before heavens. For anything, it was Lady Wisdom that was with God. And as I talked about in the beginning of Genesis, you got to get into the whole part where it's talking about, in the image of God, and everything that entails. So we get into it in the video, and it's a lot that you got to really remember about the Bible. And as I said, it's parts in up and coming books and in this book that causes you to go back to previous books. So we know the Proverbs is supposed to be written by Solomon, and you got to go back to, First Kings and understand what was said about Solomon and everything like that. And then, of course, there's the whole Egyptian connection to this. But it's important to understand the message that it's putting out. And it's deep. Proverbs it's a lot of, sayings in it. It's leading you somewhere. And you got to really look to that and really read the book to understand exactly where it's leading you and who Lady Wisdom is. Now, one of the things a lot of people is going to pick up on, and they know people not doing this research. They know people not reading their Bibles, because one of the things you have to realize is when you look at the Nag Hammadi manuscripts, when you look at Gnosticism and how Sophia is attached to Lady Wisdom, and then you have to understand that, wait a minute, they didn't find the Nag Hammadi or the Gnostic doctrines until after the King James Version. So, how would they know that? How would the King James Version even know what this was talking about? And you still won't get that part unless you understand the esoteric part of what's being said and who this goes back to. So it's almost like, okay, well, y'all wouldn't have known about this, 1604, 1611, when the King James Version was being created, to esoterically code this. It's one of the things when you study the many different Bibles, and I talked about this, it's about 16 Bibles before the King James Version. And a lot of people say, well, the Bible was never changed. Well, why did we have all these different books? Obviously, it was things, put in and taken out. Things was changed. And just a little bit of research tell you that, woman taken in adultery, we know that was added. We know that they removed the verse from Matthew and put it in John, I believe it was. And when the soldier, stabs Jesus with the spear, and that was removed because if we don't put that verse in there, then Jesus doesn't die. He's taken off with a cross, and it's like, well, wait a minute, he might have survived. So they moved it. All this stuff is documented, that there was things added and taken away from the manuscripts, which they don't teach you. And it's one of the obvious, clear-cut things that we can look to and say, this is not the all-inspired, infallible word of God. Even when you go to the King James Version, because that, again, was, re-edited and changed, and we got all these different translations or what have you. So you got to look at that. And it's like, okay, well, we had many different books, before the King James Version that clearly had to be different because we wouldn't need to keep changing it. So the whole argument that the book was perfect and, it wasn't changed, it was crazy. So even updating, the book, you changing it. A lot has changed, and they do so for a reason, to hide certain things. And unless you study in the different books, it's tough to pick up on. So Proverbs is definitely one of the most, as I said, debated books because of who we can clearly see this stuff comes from. So I don't want to give too much away, but you can clearly see, which, you guys already know, took it from Kemet. But Proverbs is where you can clearly see it's almost, word for word where they took, a lot of stuff from Kemet. And this is one of the places we could point to and see this. Now, one of the, the major points, as I said, is just trying to get people to accept the book and how you're going to do that. And when you're reading through it, you have songs, you have poems. And just like we know now, a song is a way you can get people to learn something. Alphabet, you learn, through song, you sing the alphabet. So this is how they did with a lot of the scriptures back then. It was poems, it was songs. And then you have just people coming into a whole, popularized understanding of knowledge. So back then it was like either you were stupid or you had knowledge. And then the more people, knowledge was like the celebrity back in the day. If you were smart and doing something, that was a celebrity back then. It was like you were somebody because you were smart. You were a professor or what have you. You were elevated in that position if you were that, or, a religious person, like a religious leader or what have you. But, if, for a lot of people Christians who watch, this is definitely a video you want to see, and you want to understand Proverbs, because a lot of you guys still don't want to see the code of the book. You want to believe in the story, and you can't have it both ways. 1 minute people say that the book has parables and, it's all allegorical. And then you want to believe that, Jesus walked on water, turned water into wine. It's like you got to pick, you can't pick and choose. You got to either accept that this is something else, or that it's true and all this stuff actually happened. Donkeys can talk, snakes can talk, dudes can have long hair and magical powers and what have you, and superhuman strength because they have long hair and what have you. And it just don't make sense. So you have to accept that something else is being said here. And what is that? And after reading up to this point, if you just watch the Bible series up to this point, you already know. You should be already done. And, with the book, it just don't fit. It don't make sense. And they're telling you that when you read the book. It's just telling you straight out. Like I said, it's why your preacher is not going to preach the book from Genesis to Revelation, because there's going to be a lot of questions he can't answer. Proverbs is that book. If he wasn't stumped yet, when he got to Proverbs, it's that book. This is the book, because the proclamation, which she's proclaiming Lady Wisdom in Proverbs, it kills Catholicism. It destroys the church, the papacy, or what have you. And it's right in the book. And it's one of the reasons why you had separation between, the Catholic Church and Christianity, which, they basically agree to disagree. But Proverbs is telling you that, this is none of this stuff that we're talking about shouldn't even exist. And it shouldn't even be happening in this way. And it's giving you that esoteric understanding that everything is within you. And you need to, break this down. Can't nobody tell you this stuff. Everything that you reading was being said is within you. But you have to be able to look through, the parable to see that when it's talking about God, in every instance, it's talking about you. Yeah. So for those of you guys who ask, where to start, I did a whole video about that, like where to start and where you should start beginning to pick up this information from. And it really do start by just reading the Bible. Just try. I know it's tough. You get sleepy, but you got to start somewhere, and you got to know the book. And that's one of the things. It's tough to really teach a person who don't know the basics of the religion. And people our age, it's in 30s, 40s. We know, we've been through church and stuff like that. But a lot of the new generation don't understand the stereotypical religious beliefs. Jesus is supposed to have died for our sins, and he's supposed to be coming back. It's going to be the end of the world, and you have to rapture people. And then you have people who believe that, everything that's happening is God's will. And that's just a crazy thing. Some of the stuff that these preachers tell y'all, I don't know how people believe this shit. It's just stupid. Everything that's happening is the will of God. If that's the case, then why do people pray? What would be the point for prayer? Everything that's happening is supposed to be happening according to God's will. What are you praying for? You're supposed to have faith. So if it's his will, then why pray for him to change his will? You're supposed to sit back and accept stuff. So Christians do the most complaining, most bitching about the government when your Bible tells you that God put the government here and you're supposed to obey the government. So what's happening or whatever's going to happen because of this government, you're supposed to accept according to your Bible. But, this is not happening. It's delusional behavior on the part of Christians when they, complain about the Bible or try to defend the Bible or try to, complain about politics and what have you. You can't wrap none of this stuff around biblical religion. It don't make sense. It don't fit. Everything points to you trying to realize basically what we talk about, which is the real esoteric understanding of the book and what it entails. So, it's one of the reasons why I put out the Bible series, so you can really dig deeper and see where a lot of this stuff comes from. Yeah, I have a lot of videos out. Always tell people to go back and check. A lot of videos, as I said, I organized them on Workable Academy. If you go on there, I have a whole section for the biblical videos where you can check those out and see, what we're talking about as far as the Bible. And it's the only way, it's the only way you're going to really get a full understanding of what's happening. A lot of you guys are doing biased research, and I did the same thing, because you want the stuff to be true. So when you're doing your research, you're looking for stuff to fit what you want it to fit. If you're doing that, then, you're going to be asked out because you're not going to get the truth. You're going to get biased research that's done by religious people, by theologians and, and bishops and stuff like that. People who have a stake in the church and want to keep this stuff going. I mean, it's common sense by now. You should see that it's an agenda behind the whole thing. Nothing what's being said or what's being taught to us is true. Damn well when you pray, nothing is happening. And it's delusional people out here who defend that and want to sit there and try to get grown ass men and women to believe that, when they pray, stuff happens. And I always say, well, tell us why you special. Why are you special that God answers your prayers and not nobody else's? Not those preachers who died opening their churches. They died of corona. Not them people. Not the people who was in church that got shot up and killed by Dylan Roof. Didn't answer their prayers. It's supposed to be power in the name of Jesus. And I guess there was no power that day. There's a lot of stuff you got to look to. There's common sense shit for you to just be like, this is some bullshit. And this is what Proverbs is about, because in Proverbs, you can see the clear brainwashing and persuasion. Now, no pastor that's smart in any kind of sense is going to dig deep into Proverbs, because Proverbs raises some questions, as I just said, that he's not going to want to answer. He's not going to want to have to deal with these questions. And we get into these questions in the video because, who is it that really has authority or supposed to have authority or is, has the command of God to speak for God? And this is what the Catholic Church claims. It's what Christianity claims with their preachers and pastors, that God ordained these people. And God, spoke to these people, or they had a call. And, your preacher always says, I had a call and the Lord spoke to me last night and I just want to be a preacher. And it's right in the Bible, clear as day, that it's not what happened, because, you don't really have no authority from that. And Lady Wisdom is basically saying, I have the authority, but you got to understand what that means esoterically. I'm the one. She's saying I'm the one. And you got to get that whole thing of what this means, especially for women, the feminine part of it. So it's a deep conversation to have. And as I had to stop and make sure I get this video out where we're at, because, we was just talking about it. And it's probably one of the more deeper books of the Bible to get into. And it is a part, of course, of the wisdom, the wisdom books, which is 5 books. But really, you have Job, which we got into. You have Psalms, you have Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and you have Song of Songs. But the main 3 will be Job, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes, which we'll be getting into soon. And those are the wisdom books. And these are together, really. And you got to understand that message that's in there and why these books are together and what they're trying to convey. It's a shot. It's a chance for you to come into some knowledge. And it's one of the promises in the book, as a matter of fact, that, if you get this wisdom, you're going to be basically special. But it's an esoteric saying, understanding to that. And you got to grasp what's being said to pull that information out, if that makes sense. It's deep shit. And, Proverbs, we have Egyptian Proverbs. When you talk about Proverbs, it's always talking about, wisdom, information, and Proverbs is really instructions in how you should live your life according to wisdom, which is what they'll tell you in the Bible is, the beginning of wisdom is, being scared of God. You're scared of God. That's when you start being smart. Yeah, we get into this. It's crazy. So make sure you guys check out this video. It's deep. We're going to get into Ecclesiastes next. Ecclesiastes and a lot more videos coming. And I want to thank you guys for being patient, and thanks for your support. And yes, please don't stress, don't worry. Got you guys. Tracking numbers are going out. Books are being shipped. We got you. Nobody's going to get left. Appreciate the emails. Appreciate the support. One person said that, hey man, it's not a heart. It's not a liver or a kidney. So I'm going to be patient, and I really appreciate that. We're moving as fast as we can. Appreciate the support. See you guys next video.